Shalom Israel. First and foremost, everyone give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, the the apostles, and else great millstone for teaching us this true peace and blessings to the whole elect of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the Father in Hebrew, Ba'ashem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back in the lesson. And as you see in the title, let the weak say, I am strong. I came across a video right here, and you have North Korea pretty much showcasing, their might, their strength, pretty much. As well as another thought that came to mind was how, shameful spewing should be upon thy glory. Speaking of Babylon the Great, aka America, because, you had a bunch of, alphabet people and, trying to be careful with my words, a bunch of, I'm going to say alphabet people, within, the military, and, they were pretty much, getting flamed for it. You pretty much had these other nations making a mockery out of, Babylon, aka, America's, military. But as you're going to see right here, they're pretty much, showcasing, them, flexing their arm pretty much. And you got a couple scriptures, go into it. And, that's going to be the point, so let's dive right into it. And hey, one thing for sure, you ain't seeing this in America. That's why, that thought came out was how shameful spewing should be upon thy glory. And then once again, flexing their arm, and once you got that past couple articles come out where I've seen a bunch of alphabet people within the military, and yet the other nations making a mockery of them.
이당의 품속에서 자란 조선인민군 군인의 힘과 지상, 혈기와 용맹이 어떤 것인지 만천하에 떨치는 일당백 전투원들입니다. 우리 전투원들은 경례하는 최고 사령관 동지께서 안겨주신 담력과 배짱, 천한 무적의 억센 힘과 용맹을 더 원수들이 이 땅에 덤벼든다면 조국의 평온을 지켜 한몸 그대로 무쇠 주먹이 되고 번개 같은 귀수가 될 굳은 결의가 가슴마다에.
And there you go. So you pretty much get the point. These nations are really, preparing, for war. Because that right there is just, a little example of them, flexing their arm. You can also look into their arsenal, their armory. Also making, nuclear advancements. But I do have a couple scriptures. Not be, too long with lessons. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 16. It says, Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, that thy force can be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory. As you see, America, aka Babylon the Great, for lack of better words, status, is in the dumps. It's on the lowest of the lows. As I brought up that example dealing with those alphabet people within, the military, and then you had them getting mocked and scoffed at, the whole military, and there was a laughing stock. That's also another good word. And you had within that video of them, flexing that arm, showcasing, their might pretty much. This is Joel 3:9-13. As well as, to kind of also, embarrass, these, Americans. Because I brought up that point, you don't see any of that here, Babylon the Great. Them, cracking, cement blocks, with their elbows. When it was a sledgehammer, hitting their fist to break it, But this is verse 9 from Joel 3:9-13. I said, proclaim ye This among the Gentiles prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let other men of war draw near, let them come up. Verse 10, be your plowshares, and this is the main point, it's even going to the title. Be your plowshares into swords and your prunings into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. You now have these nations start to stand up, against Babylon. Now, not taking, any flack, as you saw when, Donald Trump put up those tariffs. I believe they were, 100%, if not more. I know it wasn't exactly 100%, but, it's above, 100% on those China tariffs. And you had, China pretty much strike back, put their own, percentage on their goods, So now you have these nations that are now starting to, pretty much fight back, Especially, making advancements within their armory and the arsenal, these nuclear advancements, those troops that you saw within that video. Verse 11, assemble yourselves, come all you heathen, gather yourselves together round about. These are cause that mighty ones come down, O Lord. Verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get ye down, for the press is full, the fat overflow, for the wickedness is great. And the Lord's getting ready to judge his earth, man. And his great destruction and judgment will be by the way of those thermonuclear missiles. So World War III will be a reality. Jeremiah 37, which I only think is what I wanted. It was 59 what I wanted. Salakia. Jeremiah 50:9, that's for lo, I'll raise and cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country. Very soon you're going to have many nations come together to go against Babylon. They're going to turn against the whore, especially these so-called allied nations, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, their arrows to be as a mighty expert men. None to return in vain. Those arrows are not speaking of regular brown arrows, as you get second Ezra also to further go into that. How the arrows will be shot from one end of there to the other side. So obviously not speaking of regular brown arrows, but speaking of these thermonuclear missiles. Another good point is the 25th verse. The Lord had opened his armory and had brought forth the weapons of his indignation. So what do you think it means when the Lord's opened up his armory? And had brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts in the land of Chaldeans. You can also get Isaiah 9:5, further going to his war. It'd be completely different how we go away of fuel and flame of fire. And the scripture came to mind, but just lost it. Back should I go into, the Lord had created a waster to destroy, going to those thermonuclear missiles. Got about 2 more. Or 3 more. This is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. Wait for it to load. Yeah, so come get down for the presence of Salakia. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of Chaldeans, for that should be no more called tender and delicate. So America is going to be brought low. And you already see, how their glory, their status is in the dumps. It's spiraling down the drain. And Isaiah 13:11, now says, I'll punish, King James, and I'll punish the world for the evil, and the wicked for the iniquity, and I will cause the arrogance of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. So this pride this devil has will be humbled. His I, the Lord, will punish the world for its evil and the wicked for the sin. I will crush the arrogance of the proud and humble the pride of the mighty. As we read also in Isaiah 47:1, going to them being brought to the dust. Because right now, America, aka my grade, is on top. And they're on the pedestal, but very soon they're going to hit the lowest part. Be in the dust, the ground. Isaiah 34:1-5, and it says, come to your nations to hear, and hearken, ye people that dare to hear, and all that is in the world, and all things that come forth out. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fear upon other armies. He had utterly destroyed them, he had delivered them to the slaughter. The Lord's indignation is upon this place. especially these nations, man. Verse 3. The slain also should be cast out, and the stink shall come by the carcasses, and the mount shall be melted with the blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be brought together as a scroll, and the heavens shall be brought together as a scroll, speaking of the mushroom cloud being formed from those explosions. And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falls off from the vine, as a falling fig from the fig tree. Verse 5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. So there's all these scriptures you see in Jeremiah 50 and the 25th verse, or Jeremiah 50 and 9 going to those arrows. In the 25th verse, going to load up in his armory. You get 2nd Ezra also going to those arrows. Revelation is the 6th chapter, going to the stars falling from heaven. Reading right here, going to the sword being bathed in them. And all of it speaking of the same thing, those thermonuclear missiles. And that should start to become a lot clearer. Now it says, and all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falls from the finest falling fig from the fig tree, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, the Lord for Esau, even upon the people of my curse to judgment. So the Lord's getting ready to judge this earth. And I just want to make a quick lesson go into that video where you have these nations are now starting to pretty much flex their might, flexing their arm, they're showing their strength, and how Babylon is pretty much in the dumps. They're not able to, what's what I'm looking for, compete per se. America is going to come crashing down. You see nations are now starting to stand up. Go back to the title, let the weak say, I am strong. And mainly when else at that point dealing with, shameful speaking should be upon thy glory. The brothers point multiple times, these alphabet people within, the military, and how you had Babylon, America being mocked, becoming a laughing stock, compared to these other nations. So that's the point I wanted to make right there. I don't close out and give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Shalom. See you next one, Lord's will.